Welcome to Galactic Grandmother, Heart to Heart. My name is April, and my special guest today is Margie Kay. Margie is a remote viewer who teaches remote viewing, and she has assisted law enforcement with over 70 cases. She is also an author. She's written over 20 books. She's a psychic. She gives readings, which I can attest to are awesome. Margie's the host of Remote Viewing with Margie Kay on the UnX network. She's also very much into ufology, extraterrestrial research. She's involved with MUFON, and she has a very special guide that I'm going to let her tell us about. So, welcome. I know you're a busy lady, and I appreciate your time.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I know you're busy too.
Well, first things first, can you just give us an overview of your personal journey to getting where you are today? Some background on yourself?
I think we should start with my introduction to the paranormal.
Okay.
So, when I was very, very young, before age 3, we all knew that something was going on with me that was a little different because I could see things, I would know things, and here I am explaining to the adults what it is that's going on. But really, I didn't jump into paranormal anything until I was 10 years old when a head appeared at the foot of my bed in the middle of the night that was all white. It was just an apparition and it was talking. I couldn't hear anything, but I saw something. After the screaming stopped, my father came in the room and said, "What's going on?" And I explained it, and he says, "Oh, hang on just a minute." He goes and gets this photo album that I've never seen before in my life. And he says, "Is anybody in here who you saw?" And I picked out my grandfather, his father, who died 6 years before I was born. So I've been in contact with my grandfather since and a whole slew of other people. And so that just developed into mediumship, talking to the other side. And then eventually that developed into a lot more. With a little help from a friend of ours. So basically, that's it.
Wow. Your father. I have to commend your father. I don't know that I would have thought about getting a book of photographs of people like that.
By the time I was that age, he knew that I was very psychic.
Okay.
So he would just want to do some research and find out. He knew something was going on, that it wasn't our imagination. I mean, my
Mhm.
sister saw it too after I told her to look. She was, yeah, from her bed, she saw it.
And when did your interest in ufology and extraterrestrials start?
Well, I would say from a young age, because my father would bring me magazines about paranormal and UFOs and UFO magazine. And I had a passing interest in it. But when I was 17 years old, my family and I all saw a UFO for quite some time. And then we had missing time. So we were traveling through Oklahoma, going south to Texas when somebody in the family pointed out something to the right and said, "What is that?" And it was a long cylinder. It had no wings or tail, had no windows. It was fairly close. I would say 1,000 yards maybe, and flying very low, just above the tree line, and followed us along I-35 South for miles. And I happened to be driving. My mother was the passenger. My mother said, "Speed up." So I sped up, to like over 80, 90 miles an hour, and it kept pace. And then she said, "Slow down." So I slowed down to 50 miles an hour, and it slowed down too. And the next thing we knew, it was mid-afternoon, like 3:30 in the afternoon when we saw this. And the next thing we knew, we're pulling up to a hotel and it's dark out. And
Oh,
this is in the summer. So it
wow.
doesn't get dark until 8:30, 9 o'clock at least by
Yeah.
that time. And the next day we woke up and none of us woke up until 3 p.m. in the afternoon. It obviously now, I mean, now at the time, we didn't think anything of it. We just got up, went about our business. And it was years later we got to talking about it saying, that was pretty weird. So, of course, I got involved in UFO research and as a field investigator for MUFON. And then, we figured out that was an abduction. That was definitely
Mhm.
missing time.
And a little bit of I guess, amnesia, mind wipe too. So you
Oh
didn't.
yeah, I remember absolutely nothing from the event. And in fact, I've remote viewed that event several times, and I see the car. I'm remote viewing it from a distance. So I see our car driving and I see the UFO, but then nothing. So that has been completely wiped from my memory and also observing it later.
So did your mother or your father or your sister have any psychic abilities as well?
I would say my mother and father were intuitive, but none of them have the abilities that I do. Yeah. My sister and brother, a little bit. Yes. My brother, maybe a little more because he has very strange experiences happen to him. They lived in a haunted house for years and years and would see ghosts all the time. He'd see UFOs flying overhead, and he still does. Sees quite a bit of that. In fact, he's also seen a portal open up several times and
Ooh.
craft go in and out of it, both in Kansas City, where he lived for until last year, and now in Virginia, where he lives now. They're seeing the same thing. There's a portal right over their house. So I'm like, boy, you can pick him, can't you, Frank?
Or maybe it's a portal that follows him.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
Now you have a very special guide that I would say is mutually admired and respected by us. Would you like to talk about him?
Yeah, I heard this voice my entire life from very early childhood, and it would guide me in certain directions or answer a question that I was just thinking about. And this voice, this nice man's voice, would come in and tell me what it was. And I just thought everybody had that. I thought it was just some kind of personal guide. But later on, when I was 29 years old and we figured out it was actually on my birthday in 1985 when something very strange occurred. I was at my massage therapist and finished. And of course, keep in mind that during an hour-long massage, you're getting put into an altered state of consciousness.
Mhm.
Okay. So I got up, getting dressed. I happened to have my brother and my two daughters with me at the time because we were going to go to the fish market in Seattle after this was done. And the massage therapist, who I knew very well, I'd known him for a year, he suddenly starts talking in a different voice and says, "Would you like to try a light experiment?" And I instantly knew, you just get this feeling, this vibration that something is up. I said, "Oh yes, I would like to try a light experiment." I had no idea what he was talking about. Well, he had me look at a very bright, very big green light and then turned it off and had me look at a red light and then back and forth. And then he says, "Now what do you see?" And I look up and I see his skeleton standing there and nothing else. And I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm looking at and how that happened when a man's head appears on once again, the head appears on the wall, and it had a helmet on, covered his hair. The helmet came down to a point in the middle, and he said, "I am Thor, and now you have x-ray vision, and we're going to be working together. I'll be in contact soon." And then he was gone. And I look at the massage therapist, and I look at my brother and my daughters, and I said, "Did you guys see that?" And they said, "See what?" Nobody had that. It was like 1 second to the next for them, but time slowed down for me so I could have this short conversation. And the massage therapist was back to normal. And I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who Thor is. Nothing. We left. The next night, I was doing a reading for my brother. And I do most of a reading session with my eyes closed because I see better with my third eye that way. And so I had my eyes closed. It was dark. It was late at night, quiet. And something said, "Open your eyes, open your eyes." And I could just physically feel something pulling my eyes open. Okay. So I did. And I look on the wall, and here is Thor's head again. Only this time it's like 2 feet tall. It's gigantic. And he says, "You and I have some important work to do together. I will be in touch." And then he says, "I'm going to show you my ship tomorrow night at your UFO meeting." And he's gone. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. So we went to a UFO meeting in Seattle in the Queen Anne district, up these big hills. It was really overlooking the city there. So we had a UFO meeting with a group. I don't know, maybe there were 12 or 15 people there. And I situated myself next to this huge, big picture window that the leader of the group had in his living room because I knew something really cool was coming. And sure enough, halfway through the meeting, I sense there's something there. And another psychic next to me did too. And we both start looking outside. My brother does too. And everybody's like, "What are you guys doing? Why are you looking outside?" Well, here comes this, well, I'd say 60 feet wide UFO with different colored lights all the way around it, spinning. I mean, just blatantly there, lowers down over the neighbor's yard and over the street. And it's low and it's just sitting there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do you guys see that? Nobody saw it but me. Nobody. And the psychic says, I know something's there. I can sense it, but she couldn't see it. So we left the meeting. And then a couple of days later, I went into a meditative state. And so now I'm trying to figure out who this guy is, right? And I said, Thor, could you please give me a little more information? And he says, yeah, that was my ship that you saw, but that was only for you. It wasn't for everybody else. Okay. So he stayed with me for years. He told me things to do. He wanted me to start a magazine. He wanted me to write some books, wanted me to start the Unexplained Network, which I did. And then after that, the Woo Channel, which is a new channel coming up very soon, and you're going to be a part of that. It's been a progression of learning and also some abilities. So the ability he gave me that he called X-ray vision was really an enhancement of remote viewing to the point where I can see inside the human body. I see organs, I see blood, I see where there's a problem, and I'm told where there's a problem. And a lot of times told what could be done to help that. And then not to mention looking inside machinery and diagnosing problems with vehicles, which comes in real handy with my contracting business, things like that. And it lost items, if it's something really important, I will find it, just no question. So it's been interesting working with him, and I think it was 2012. I thought that was it. No, that wasn't it. 2012, a friend of mine who's a psychic, her name's Gail Larmer. She and I did an event, and we were both doing psychic work, and we were on our way home in our respective vehicles that evening. 10:30, my phone rings while I'm driving home, and it's Gail, and she doesn't even say hello. She says, "Who the heck is Thor?" And I said, "What? How do you know?" She goes, well, he just contacted me and says, you haven't been listening lately and you need to pay attention and contact him. I said, well, okay, I'll do that. And I told her what I knew, what had been going on. I hadn't told anybody about that. My brother was the only one who knew. And so she says, well, I'm going to find out who he is. And she did. She found the book, Stranger at the Pentagon by Frank Stranges,
Right.
and mailed it to me. And I got it, and I was ready to read it that evening. I put it next to my couch, and I went back. I went to work. I came back that evening. It was gone. The book was gone. 6 months later, I searched everywhere. I mean, everywhere for that book. 6 months later, I'm sitting in the kitchen talking to my husband about something, and Thor's voice comes in my head, and he says, go read the book. I'm like, I lost the book. He tells me exactly where to go to get it, and it was there. So I read the book, and now I know that Thor is an extraterrestrial who visited the Pentagon from 1957 to 1960. Well, they thought they had him trapped there, but he left whenever he wanted. He could just go and disappear and be somewhere else. So then I had some reference. He is a created being. He has no fingerprints. He has no belly button. And just a few days ago, and I haven't told anyone else this yet. I found out something.
Oh, it's an exclusive by Margie Kay.
It's an exclusive. Well, it's two exclusives. Two.
Right.
Okay, because a month ago, I contacted Thor and I said, why do I have this very strong connection to Venusians? And why are all these people who are Venusians coming to me now? And he says, haven't you figured it out? You're one of us. Oh, okay. So that explained a lot. That explained a lot. He says, I'm one of the crew on his craft. I'm one of their crew. And I agreed to come into this lifetime. My soul agreed to come into this lifetime to help raise consciousness. Okay, that explained a lot about me and other people, and why I'm meeting these certain people at certain times. And so then just a couple of days ago, I had a new revelation from him, and something just blocked me from saying it. Oh, maybe. Okay, I'm going to ask for an unblock if it's okay. It's okay. Sorry about that, April.
Oh, no, I'm
Maybe you can pick something up.
No.
It's gone. It is gone.
Yeah, I just heard we would have it's for her right now. And
Okay.
Can she tell us about it right now? No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
what a teaser. Now, how are we
Oh,
going to find
I
out? Are
know.
you going to, when you can tell us, can you make an announcement on
Yeah.
social media or?
I will see what is appropriate. I will. And see, it's gone out of my mind. It won't even let me see it or hear it.
Oh, interesting. Well, that was
Yeah.
actually one of my questions is, are you Venetian?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely am. But as soon as I heard that, I suddenly have memories
Hmm.
of being on the craft with him
Hmm.
and wearing what they're wearing, long robes and one-piece suits. And it's a very friendly, uplifting, positive environment. And when you're on the craft, you have no pain, you have no health issues because the energy is so high. Yeah, I would like to get back there someday soon.
No,
Maybe not
good,
tomorrow, but
good.
soon.
Yeah. So remote viewing is just something that came naturally to you, right?
It did. And then with Thor's help,
Okay.
it was
Is it
enhanced.
difficult for other people to refine their, I think we all kind of have some abilities to remote view, but is it difficult to refine that and improve it?
Well, remote viewing is due to the pineal gland and the psychic center of the brain, which we all have.
Mhm.
It comes easy to me now because I have practiced my entire life. Every single day, meditation every day, remote viewing every day for the last 48 years. Okay. That's a lot of practice. So it comes
Mhm.
easy. But for other people who have never done it or have never even meditated, it's going to take a while.
Mhm.
But you can train yourself to do it. You can train your brain to do it. And I developed a remote viewing workshop on demand that's a 10-hour workshop. And I tell people take it over 5 or 10 weeks. Don't sit down and try to do everything at once. But if you do everything in order, starting with learning to meditate and being calm and relaxed and giving yourself permission to do that every day, because the thing is, and this happens to me too, we get so caught up in our daily routines
Yeah.
and the things that we have to do that we're focused on those things. But if I just tell people, if you can't take time up when you wake up or in the middle of the day, fine. Right before you fall asleep, you've got 10 minutes before you fall asleep. That's your meditation time and your contact time with your higher self.
I know that you use that ability for your readings, and you had mentioned on social media and to me as well, you're seeing some changes. It started with the small bowel, I believe, where it's turning white as it's changing into a higher frequency. Have you continued to see more and more of that in your readings?
I have. I just saw another one yesterday. What happened, and this is about 9 months ago when I started seeing this. And as I scan a person during a reading, one of the things I do is look inside their body and see if anything is standing out, needs attention.
Mhm.
When I got to the small intestine of this person, it was completely white. Well, if I see a white organ, that usually means it's missing, that it has been taken out. But I knew that wasn't the case. So I had to ask my guides for some help. And they said, that person is changing physically to 5D. And I thought, wow, here we know that the planet is shifting to 5D. We're in it right now, but it's a process, right? But people are physically changing to 5D. So what that means is, and there's so many, so many of them. Most of the people I see, I'd say 99%,
Mhm.
are very high frequency people. I'm seeing this a lot. In some cases, most of the organs have changed to white.
Ooh.
In
Oh.
others, a fogginess has come in, this white fog that tells me it's getting ready to do that.
Mhm.
And in all of those cases, the people, their bodies are getting lighter and light, literally emitting light. Okay. So their diet has to change.
Oh, that was my next question.
Yep. And most of them have figured out what they need to do and they've automatically gone to a very light diet. But some just needed a little reminder because If you don't follow that, which means no heavy meats like beef and pork, some people can do a little bit of poultry. Most people can do fish. It should be a mostly vegetarian diet, vegetables, cooked or steamed, not too many raw vegetables, but the reason,
Or why? Yeah.
the digestive system, that's a hard thing to digest.
Oh.
Okay. So juicing raw vegetables is much, much better to do. So that's how you can get them. And, throw an apple in there for a little sweetness. And no white sugar, that causes inflammation, and it also is extremely disruptive. It's a super, super high vibration. That and grapefruit. And then the other citrus right underneath that. When I see that in a person, their vibration is so high, it's too much.
Oh.
So you don't want to have too much, too high a vibration or too low vibration. You want to have a nice middle ground. If anybody is having digestive problems, it's probably because they're shifting to 5D and they
Mm.
have to have that lighter diet. And also very small portions. I can only eat a tiny bit at a time and have like 5 small meals during the day. So I can feel the shift. And if I go outside of that, I will pay for it. So that's the same for a lot of people. And people that I've told that months ago have gotten back to me and said, "Yeah, you were right. The diet was right."
Yeah, we tend to want to find out through trial and error, right?
Yes, we have to learn the hard
We're
way.
humans. Yeah, that was so interesting when you first made that announcement on your Facebook account. Has Val Thor? Well, first I wanted to ask you, there's pictures of Val in the garden at the White House. Are those real, genuine pictures of Val Thor? He was with the blonde woman that supposedly was also Venusian and another man.
The pictures that I know about are from New Jersey
Oh,
and with a UFO experiencer. And August C. Roberts was the photographer. He was the military photographer, and he was there taking pictures. Of course, he thought he was being sneaky because there weren't supposed to be any pictures taken. But Thor knew. He told me he knew he was doing it. And as far as I know, those are the only legitimate photos of Thor that are out there.
and that's Thor sitting down
Yep,
outside. And then
yep,
there's a very pretty blonde woman next to him.
yes. Those are two of his crew members, his brother Don, and then the lady is also a crew member.
Oh, okay. I always wondered if that was the real deal because he created a very handsome body. Yeah.
Yes, and that's how you can tell extraterrestrials or at least Venusians that are here with us now if they're just too perfect. If you see somebody who's too perfect, suspect that they're really ET.
Oh,
Yeah,
um,
I've seen some.
I'm sure you have. You do a lot of readings.
I do.
Your readings, though, you say are 30 minutes. And when I first signed up for a reading, I thought, well, 30 minutes isn't that long. But boy, you pack the information in there in 30 minutes. Like you've got an hour's worth of information packed in.
Yeah, I used to do hour-long readings, but I found that all of the pertinent information comes in very quickly and I can get it in 30 minutes. Most of the time, that's all it takes. And it comes through quick. So I tell people you've got to record this because you will not remember and you can't write fast enough to
Mhm,
get it
mhm,
because everything comes in their energy field. I looked at that first and then I look at the chakras because the chakras are super, super important for people to know what's going on with them so they know what to work on
mhm.
and to clear energy out, or blocks. And then I look inside the body, and that takes 15 minutes. And then they have 15 minutes to ask questions. And usually half of their questions are already answered by that point. So it's fast. Yeah.
Uh,
That and the fact that I'm half Italian, I move fast. That's how we do.
I definitely will recommend your readings to anyone that wants to try see what you have to offer. I've gotten great feedback from the couple of people friends of mine that have
Oh,
gotten the
good.
readings. Has Val Thor given you info about this current timeline that we're in and any future timelines?
Yes, he told me a couple of months ago that their timeline for full disclosure, meaning they're going to make an appearance everywhere around the world at the same time, and which he has shown me visions of several times. They've got craft out there right now that are cloaked, that are
Oh, yeah.
around the entire world. So he told me that they moved the timeline up from September to July. Well, July came and went and nothing happened. So I kind of feel like the timeline is September now, that they've gone back to that. They're waiting for some more disclosure from the government, and we just had another dump a couple of days ago with new information and new photos. Of course, they don't give much explanation that goes along with that, but they have released so many thousands of pages of information that people are still going through it. You hear the news cycles. Oh, we found this in there. So I think that's soft disclosure. I think maybe they want a little bit more of that to go. But the one thing that Thor told me is they are not happy with the disclosure timeline by our governments around the
Mm.
world, because he's been to the UN several times, spoken with a small group of people who are the countries that are basically in charge of all this: Russia, United States, etc. And they were supposed to disclose a long time ago, and they keep pushing it back. That's all I know at the moment about that. But I feel like this is going to happen very soon, and the whole world is going to know. There's going to be no question.
And how is that going to affect? Have you seen future timelines where it's post disclosure by the with the ships and everything?
I have not seen after that. I've seen during the disclosure with the ships appearing. And the thing is that it does not cause mass panic. Now, some people freak out, but most people don't. They're looking up, they're seeing the craft, and it's kind of like Independence Day, with this gigantic craft up there that's miles wide and just sitting there and not moving. It's not doing anything threatening, but there is a global release over the entire internet from Thor.
Oh,
And he tells people, he's showing me this right now. He tells people, do not panic. We've been here forever, and we're here to help you. We're your friends. So there are some people in the military who are mad about that because they want to fight, but they're not going to get a fight. However, he's told me something else some time ago, and he says, we will not allow any further nuclear weapons.
mhm.
There will not be testing. There will not be anyone firing nuclear weapons. They will intervene. And he says, you already know we can do that because they have shut down every single missile base in the world at one time or another and let everybody know that it was them.
Right.
They did it.
I have found that reassuring when I'll have friends say, oh, there might be a World War III with nuclear. And I said, nope, it's not going to happen.
No,
Won't
it
be
will not.
allowed.
And the reason is not only are we destroying ourselves like idiots,
Right.
but every time something like that goes off, it tears a hole in space time and between dimensions. And some of these tears were created by us. And there are things that are coming in to our dimension that should not be here.
Mm-hmm.
So, bad aliens, interdimensional creatures, some of these things people are seeing, like I suspect Mothman is one of them. Dogman. Some people are saying, have seen, and I have seen something like a wraith,
What's
a
that?
real thin, tall, creepy looking, arms too long,
Oh,
legs too long. I mean, it's creepy. I've seen two of those.
is that like the pictures on social media where it's kind of a gray color too?
Similar. The ones I saw were black, but
Ooh.
yeah, it could be. It could be. And things that you might consider to be demonic and reptilians. And those guys are negative, but they use interdimensional portals to come
Mhm.
in and out. So, yeah, they they're not going to allow any more of that. They're having enough trouble keeping those portals guarded as it is.
And what do you think about CERN being closed down? You
Yeah.
think it's really closed down?
I don't know, but I think they probably had some problems with creepy things like that coming in. And there's a lot about CERN that's very disconcerting. It's built over a place that's called like the Devil's Portal or something like that. When they opened, they did all of these very strange
Satanic
ceremonies.
rituals. Yeah.
Yeah, and where they were dressed up as these creatures and like what? So maybe there is something to that. Maybe that's a conspiracy that's fact. And there has, of course, there's been talk about they could create a wormhole. They could create a black hole and suck us all into it, and there wouldn't be anything we could do about it. Just they're playing with fire, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So maybe they finally figured that out and shut it down.
Good. Have you seen any trends in the clients that you give readings for that might reflect a change in our collective consciousness?
Definitely, yes. The last year to 2 years, the people I'm seeing are a very high vibration, high level of consciousness. They practice meditation, and so they have a lot of practice going into an altered state. These are people who are also teachers, trainers, and they're coming to me for a little advice, a little boost to go here or there, maybe a little business advice, and also what their talents are, because a lot of people have hidden talents. That's the thing about this ride, as I call it, called life. Sometimes you just discover things on your own. You think, "Oh, let me try this," and you do, and you can
Mhm.
do it. And see, that's the thing. And I'm just really happy to be able to offer a little bit of guidance too. It's like training the trainer. Okay, that's what's going on right now. And I think that these people are led to me for a reason, and it's because we're all on the same path. We're all
Mhm.
helping to raise consciousness of the planet, as you are, April.
Oh, thank you. That's the goal.
Indeed.
And we did an online extraterrestrial conference. And how did that turn out? How was that well received?
It was very well received. We had a lot of comments from people who are on the path, who were ready to hear that information.
Oh,
It
good.
seems that people are sent to the right place at the right time.
Hmm.
When they're ready for a new teacher, they will find that there's a reason why they watch something on YouTube or go to an online conference like we did, and people can still watch that conference. They can see it online at the Unexplained Network or unxnetwork.com.
Yeah, that was a lot of
And
fun.
well, your contribution was so good, and I just really enjoyed watching the high energy around you as you spoke. So you had a lot going on there.
Oh, good. As I was the first speaker and it seemed like it just seemed to naturally flow. I kind of gave an overview of things, and then each person after that would seem to even go deeper into different topics.
Yes, everybody had a different take or a different experience to share,
Mhm.
but it was all about higher consciousness and how we can facilitate that for ourselves. And I think that all of the speakers combined, of course, that was planned as well. And I think Thor had a hand in that.
Well, the trend that I've been seeing with all the people I interview is definitely we're all here assisting people to tap into their own higher consciousness by doing the dietary stuff and by doing the inner work so that we can embody more higher consciousness. It's just
Mhm.
across the board, everyone I talk to seems to be getting the same message that's downloaded to them.
They are. I'm seeing that as well. And people are more intuitive now. The thing is that because of the planet's position in the universe, it is moving to fifth dimension. And it has to do with our alignment with the central sun and our alignment in the galaxy. So we're moving and in fifth dimension. So the people living on the planet and even non-living persons on the planet who have chosen this as a home, their vibration level has gone up. And it's a slow process. It's several years of time. We've already been in it for a while. Now, I'd say we're almost to the middle. We're almost to the center of that. So I'm going to say another 2 to 3 years will be the final shift for most people.
Mhm.
Now, there are a lot of people who are such a low vibration that they will not get to fifth dimension. That's not going to happen. And they're going to have to hang around and wait for another cycle, which is going to be a long time. But it's all a process. We're all headed to the same place eventually, but we all wake up at different times. There are people who are waking up now who are in their 80s, and there are people who are waking up who are in their 20s. I think it's really interesting both ways, but the people who are older are probably going to have to wait till they jump to another lifetime to get to the point where they're at a high enough level to what I call wake up. That means different things to different people, but most of us use that term, and they'll say, "Oh, I woke up in 2012."
Right,
uh,
right,
yeah, it's just an awareness. What that means is it's an awareness that there's a lot more going on than our 3D reality.
right. Have you seen how that separation of consciousness is going to take place?
That's the thing. I've seen two things. The first thing I saw was separation of 3D and 5D, but then I saw it's in the same place, but we're in different dimensions. So obviously, the fifth dimension, sixth dimension, and onward are in our same space.
Mhm.
They're right next to us all the time. But if we raise our vibration, we're going to be in fifth dimension most of the time, 99% of the time. Sometimes we're going to cross down to third to say hello to somebody and then go back. Okay. And so we might not be able to see, well, we can see, but they can't see us.
Mhm.
Okay. So the third dimension people will not be able to see the fifth dimension people. And I thought that for years. I thought that for years until a few months ago, Thor showed me, no, you will still be able to see each other, but you're not going to be on the same track. And so it's going to mean, and this has already started, division for people, divorce, separation from family, friends that are not working anymore, and a movement towards like kind people to you at whatever your vibration level is. That's what you want to be around because you complement each other. And that, of course, has always started, that's been going on for a long time, but the pace has picked up. So I would
Yeah.
expect to see more separation.
I've really noticed it in the last 2 to 3 months. People falling away out of my orbit, so-called really close friends, friends like family,
Yeah.
and they're just dropping off.
Yeah.
Seems like they're just doing their own thing. And my first instinct was to be a chaser and chase after them. Oh, how are you? What's going on with you? And then I was
Right.
very quickly stopped, and it was no, they have their life to live. You just let them go do their own thing. You definitely have your own life to live, and you may not be going in the same directions.
Right. You can't fight it because it doesn't work if it doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, my dear, is there any particular message that you think is important or Val Thor thinks is important for us to know at this time?
Yeah, the main message is raising your consciousness, working with other high vibration people, and learn as much as possible. Whatever you can fit in your brain, you know, communication with living things, trees, communication with rocks and crystals, dowsing work, drumming. Drumming is a big one. I'm seeing that a lot with my clients. A Native American will come in with a drum, and that is a symbol for they need to learn drumming or they need to relearn it
Mhm.
because drumming takes negative energy out of people. And that's what the shaman does. He is bouncing negative things out, whether it's an illness or a thought form or a negative being that's attached. They will detach with that. The other thing that drumming does is it puts you in an altered state of consciousness without even thinking about it, either by yourself or with a group. Now, I find it best with a group. It seems to work much more easily because you have a very, very, very constant sound coming, and you will shift to altered state very, very quickly. If people can't do that, listening to meditation music or drumming music or 432 hertz, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do. There's free things on YouTube. I've got a bunch of meditations on my channel at margiekay.com. And also that there's a link to my YouTube and the little short meditations that you can listen to during the day. So I'm encouraging people to take a break in the middle of their busy day and do a 2 or 3 minute meditation, either with that I created or something else, and calm your mind, and then put that aside and get back to work. You'll find that you'll be much calmer, and whatever problems that you've been thinking about solving will probably come to you during that time, and it'll be much easier to finish your workday.
Wonderful. Now, are the rattles good too, just like the
Yes,
drumming?
yes, they are. They are, and they're easier to carry to take around.
Yeah.
That and a lot of people are also finding some benefit from using the tuning forks. You get a full set of tuning forks, and you can use them for yourself and listening, strike it, and then you listen both ears. And that tone clears out negative energy again without even thinking about it. But if you have a certain spot in your body where there's a problem, you pick the right one that's the closest to that chakra in that spot and tone and hold it over that location. Of course, there are other methods of listening to different frequencies, different vibrations. I have a Tesla med bed that is awesome. You're
Ooh,
sitting in the middle of this sound and surrounded by it. It's
man.
just incredible. And you dial in whatever frequency it is. Of course, it's the rife frequencies that are used with
Oh
this.
my goodness.
And boom, it's just amazing. I wish everybody could have one of those. There are other ways too. There are free ways and there are not free ways. But whatever you do, think about raising your consciousness in some way.
Wonderful. I will put all of the links to how people can contact you underneath this video. And I look
Okay, great.
forward to getting you back again so that we can dive into some other topics.
Well, thank you so much, April. It's been a blast as usual, and I need to get you on my program again soon.
Okay. Sending you so much love, and you have a fabulous day.
You
Don't work
too.
too hard.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
Okay,
Bye bye.
bye-bye.